Good morning. This is the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Saturday, May 30th. On our impacts, we have quite a few. Strong gusty winds across much of Nevada, western Utah gusting up to 45 miles per hour. Heat in the red expands throughout most, if not all, of the region. Temperatures 15 to 20 degrees above normal for this time of year. Also some high-based thunderstorms, a mix of wet and dry across the Sierra front, which will have to be monitored, as well as some isolated ones across the eastern portion of the Great Basin. Sunday, still areas of wind across southern central Utah, and continuing again on Monday. So this is a multi-day wind event. We'll have to watch for any fires that do pop up. They'll encounter wind in those areas for several days. Precipitation over the past 24 hours on the left, probably the most that reached the ground were in the darker shade of blue. A lot of the upper colors here are just virga. Did have quite a bit of lightning here on the right-hand side, all across northern Utah, eastern Utah, parts of Idaho. The further north you go, the wetter the lightning and the fuels are. New fire starts in the red, for some smaller fires popping up here with the lightning, but fairly small. Recent fires in the yellow. Precipitation other than the last 24 hours, in the last 7 days, most of it across far northern areas of Utah, eastern Idaho, parts of central Nevada. That was last week's storm, which is now waning. You can see how much below normal much of the area is, except for eastern Idaho and western Wyoming. Our ERCs are starting to go up, drying out a lot more in the yellow. You can see our driest and most critical areas are down here in the south and the east. 10-hour fuels have been powering a lot of our recent fires in cured grass areas. You can see the area in red here where 10-hour fuels are in the 3 to 4% range. So any fires that ignite in those dry fuels, as long as they're not mixed with wet or live fuels, will have the ability to carry. Satellite imagery shows deep, unseasonably deep low pressure over the Bay Area of San Francisco. The tight packing of these height lines will produce the wind today. There is a push from the south, some subtropical moisture, not the monsoon, but looks a little similar and feels a little similar as some of the mid-level humidity starts coming up. That's fuel for some of those isolated thunderstorms. So for this afternoon, you see on the left, the tight packing of these height lines shifts eastwards. Strong upper-level winds of 50 miles per hour will power those winds. Mid-level moisture, but still dry at the low levels. We'll see that in a minute. So we have high risk for wind in areas here in the orange, covering a vast area of Nevada, southern central Utah, and parts of the Arizona Strip. You can see the humidity levels, despite the cloud cover here on the right-hand side, single digits across much of Nevada, low to mid-teens across Utah. On the left are the transport winds, areas in the purple and brown, gusting in the 40s, maybe near 50 miles per hour, and anywhere here in the orange and pink areas, 35 to 45 mile an hour winds. So winds will be quite strong. Tomorrow, our high risk for winds here on the right-hand side shifts a little further east. But you can still cover a good portion of Utah here, still parts of Ely's southern area. And here is that low pressure kind of opening up now, but still the tight packing of these height lines producing the wind, and still some mid-level clouds and humidity, so can't rule out an isolated thunder shower in some spots. There is the wind here, not quite as strong tomorrow, more in the 25 to 35 mile an hour range. Humidity level still dry though in those areas, upper single digits to mid-teens. On Monday, we still have high risk here on the right for wind in those areas. Even though there's moisture pushing into western Nevada with clouds and maybe some showers and much higher humidity, there is some drier air across our central and eastern areas. You can see the belt of winds here again, 25 to 35 miles per hour. You can see where those dry humidities are near 10% or single digits in eastern Nevada through Utah, but see how the humidity now is starting to come up across western Nevada and still pretty high to the north. 3-day precipitation totals isolated off the Sierra Crest and across eastern Utah with some isolated showers or thunderstorms. The best chance of wetting rains will be in the Uintas. On Tuesday, low pressure is still sitting there, still pulling up some moisture, and we'll start seeing some of the dryness levels starting to moderate a little bit here on the right-hand side. And as we go into midweek, you You can see less in the way of brown, more in the way of green through here. And again, each of those days where you see the green could be an isolated shower or thunderstorm, continuing even into Thursday. Somewhat cooler than normal temperatures. Our brown areas have disappeared. We're mostly in the green and yellow stages, so a bit of a respite later in the period. That continues into Friday, and maybe some heavier showers or thunderstorms across parts of Utah. 7-day precipitation totals. A lot of this here in Utah will be picking up in the middle to latter part of next week. Otherwise, we'll see an increase in humidity. Long range 8 to 14 day outlook shows cooler than normal across parts of Idaho, northern Nevada, near normal elsewhere. Above normal precipitation for parts of Idaho, northern areas of Nevada and Utah. So again, a bit of a respite in our northern and central areas. This concludes our briefing. Have a great day.